Soon on my channel, I'm going to be having one of my short battles featuring these two fine bug people. So make sure you subscribe so you don't miss that. Hello fellow Kajin fans, it is I, GPTV here, and today I'm going to be talking about my thoughts on Shin Kamen Rider. A lot of you may be confused why I even went and saw this movie, because supposedly, as I've mentioned on my channel in the past, I hate Kamen Rider. I think Kamen Rider sucks. So, Shin Kamen Rider. I went and saw it. Do I think it sucks just like the rest of Kamen Rider? Well, surprise, surprise. I think Shin Kamen Rider was fantastic. Yeah, I actually really liked it. I know, you can't even believe what you just heard. Your ears are in such disbelief that they're like, looking at you like, did you hear that? And you're like, how are my ears talking? Why? Why did I like this movie so much from a franchise that, well, I don't actually hate it. I did have a lot of trouble getting into it. I thought the story of Shin Kamen Rider was overall pretty darn good. I've seen very little of the show, so I can't talk very much about how I think the movie did things better. However, I did think they handled the professor better in the movie than the show. His introduction and character made a lot more sense, and what he did with Hongo made a lot more sense in the movie. Where he's a guy part of Shocker who wants to fight against Shocker, and he's like, this guy, Hongo, is the only one who could stop them. It was kind of confusing in the original show needlessly, and the movie made it a lot more straight to the point. The anti-Shocker organization in the movie. Of course that's going to exist. Like a military branch of sorts that's made to fight Shocker. I've always kind of wondered why couldn't the military just pull up and take them out? And here they are doing that in this movie. That was a cool surprise. Also, obviously, it was cool that the Shin Ultraman guy and the Shin Godzilla guy were the two anti-Shocker guys. That was pretty cool. Oh yeah, also, can I have a new cool toy? Oh my god, thank you, I love it. The story also got pretty gritty and real at times, especially when they show the leader of Shocker shooting himself on the beach. Like, it was very real. It was kind of like, oh my, in the theater. And also when they show the criminal stabbing Hongo's dad. That was so real, like real footage. It was a lot. The whole prana thing was interesting. I liked the concept. I just wish they didn't say it so much. Now, the habitat thing, I don't know about that. That was all random other dimension that just shows up out of nowhere. That was a little weird and a bit much to just throw at you. And what's up with these Shin movies having random other dimensions? Like, first is the plank brain, and now the habitat. Ririko's story was interesting. She's our main character besides Hongo. The main female of the story's relationship with her father being different than the original was interesting to me. In the original show, she wants revenge on the one who took her father's life. In this show, she's immediately like, yeah, I don't like my dad. Glad he's gone. Glad he was a not good guy. And her relationship with the wasp augment, that felt a little forced, if you ask me. It was like out of nowhere, she's like, yeah, you know, we just sort of friends. And the wasp dies, she's like, it was a little too forced for me. Like, I did not feel bad for that wasp, you know? I wish her sorrow moment in the movie went more towards the fact that she was having to fight her brother. Speaking of her brother, Kamen Rider number 0, I thought he was really cool. I absolutely loved the design. He was a very menacing final augment. However, I think everything would have been tied together a lot better if her brother had more to do with K. Whether he was actually K the whole time, or K and him fuse, or something like that. And of course, Hongo dies at the end. That wasn't supposed to happen. What? Yes, he uses too much prana and loses his body. However, his soul ends up in his mask, which I think is a pretty neat direction to take things, honestly. Both his death and Ririko's death were quite the interesting twist to see in the theater. The fights in this movie were some of the best I've ever seen on the silver screen. There was the perfect amount of fights in the movie. They were well spaced, and they always felt like the perfect length. The fight with the wasp augment, the fight between the two riders, and the tunnel fight are absolutely the best fights in the movie. The wasp fight was probably the most fun for me. The fight between the two riders probably had the best fight choreography. The way the camera was just in the back the whole time as we saw them running through the factory, as they jumped up and hit each other. Oh, it was so cool. And the tunnel fight. The tunnel fight was absolutely beautiful and glorious. The cinematography, the lighting, the bike, the angles, the everything. It was so good. And the movie just had good attention to detail. The bike was awesome. I loved everything about the bike. I loved the transformation it has. I love the way the jets in the back can move up and down and around the bike so he could fly. Oh my gosh, when he flew, that was so cool. And the transformation details for Kamen Rider himself were great. The belt was very convoluted and I love it. And I love how they really stuck to the whole wind thing. So he went faster on his bike, he was more powered up, or he fell out of the sky and he could charge up like that. And the way the prana like fires out of it when he like opens it up. The movie also had some pretty cool references that even I was able to pick up on. Someone who's not much of a fan, as you know. Like the way Hongo broke his leg when he was fighting Kamen Rider 2. It's just like in real life! And of course, the soundtrack of the movie is phenomenal. Every time a track played, it blessed my ears. The new rendition of Rider Kick is just in my head now, never leaving. Pretty much playing on repeat at this point. The Metamorphosis track is great, the Augment themes are great. The tunnel fight scene song, oh my lord. Best track in the whole soundtrack, unless you count the Let's Go Rider Kick 50th anniversary version. But if you don't, it's the best track of the whole soundtrack. It is so good. Now, of course, the movie's not perfect. I do have some dislikes, you know. I think the first half of the movie was a little rushed. I noticed it while I was watching. It was just too much talking, thing happened, talk, thing happened, talk, thing happened. It slows down way better in the second half of the movie. In the first half, there was a lot of lines I noticed were just unnecessary. You could remove the line and everything would make sense. And instead of having a person talk there, if they just stopped talking for a second, it would just make everything flow so much better. And while I did praise the fights already, there were some fights that I thought were a little hard to tell what was happening and cut together a little weird. Mainly the Spider Augment fight. When he's fighting him on top of the dam, it did not feel like it cut together very well. And it was also a little hard to tell what was even happening. Come to think of it, even outside of the fights, there were some weird cuts. Like when the cabin blows up and somehow the bike is just sitting there. And the final dislike, what was the point of K? What was the point of K? They have like a whole backstory of him. They built him up as something. And he's just like disappeared. He didn't amount to anything. Like I said earlier, he should have had something to do with Kamen Rider Zero. That would have made the final boss a lot more interesting. Say, K's been watching them the whole time and now he knows their every move. In conclusion, as I've said many times, I love the movie. Shin Godzilla, Shin Ultraman, I can't rate those. Godzilla and Ultraman are my life and blood, and those two movies are nothing but love for the franchise, so I just can't help but love them to a point where I'm too biased to even try and rate them. Shin Kamen Rider though, I don't have the biggest relationship with Kamen Rider. I've seen a couple shows, the 2 shows on Amazon Prime and a couple episodes of the original show. That's about it, so I'm unbiased. I could rate this movie how I truly feel, and that is a 9 out of 10. There were a couple flaws, but overall it was pretty darn good. The movie was so good, it makes me feel like I could be a Kamen Rider. Never mind. Well, this has been GPTV. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and check the links in my description, especially my Letterboxd, where you can see me have the same review as some naughty spud. As you can see, I'm just very relatable to the masses. See you guys next time.